There you go. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. We're just going to give a couple more minutes for other folks to join. And happy Tuesday. It's no longer Monday. Woohoo!
Hi, everybody. I think we will kickstart. I know people are still rolling in, but I will start by introducing Tina Behers, and she is the VP of Enterprise Agility, and she will be hosting this webinar. So I'd like to hand it over to Tina. Take it away.
Good morning, everyone. So today our topic is Jira Align. I know a lot of folks on the call have been using Jira Align for a while. Perhaps there's something else that you've been wanting to have Jira Align do for your organization. Now's the time to find out if Jira Align can do it and how to make that happen. As Nina said, my name is Tina Behers. I am the Vice President of Enterprise Agility here with the Adaptavist group. I've been working in the Agile space technically since the mid-90s. Most quotable quote, can't scale crazy. You do have to do your scaling of Agile practices in a very thoughtful approach and align with your strategy. And that is something that Jira Align does help you do quite tremendously. For anyone on the call who's not familiar with the Adaptavist group, the Adaptavist group is an Atlassian certified, trusted, and recognized partner. We are one of the few partners in the ecosphere that is certified with Agile at Scale, which is for Jira Align implementations, support, etc., as well as cloud and ITSM certifications. Many of you know us from our marketplace presence with some of our amazing plugins in the ScriptRunner family and the Collective family. So the Adaptavist group provides a host of services all around people, process, and tools to help you achieve your transformation journey. Everything from professional services to help align your Jira functions, processes, and projects to full-on transformation services within the Aligned Agility group, managed services, even down to social engineering and social insights to help your organization be able to function in a more team way. So first off, we have a little icebreaker. So Nina, could you take that away?
Of course. One more.
Tina, you might need to share your slides as well.
Sorry, am I not sharing?
No.
Goodness, rookie mistake, y'all. Sorry about that. All right, so our icebreaker quiz. What is Jira Align? 3 options. It's for Agile Enterprise. It's an Enterprise Agile planning solution, or it's a planning solution for Agile. Question number 2, when was Jira Align created? 2007, established in 2014. 2001, established in 2012. 2003, established in 2015. Question number 3, What was Jira Align originally called? Agile Craft, Agile Ahead. So we'll give just a couple more minutes for everybody to be able to vote in their trivia questions this morning. All right, just got a couple more to vote. And let's go ahead and end the poll and see our final results. So final results, let's see, here we go. What is Jira Align? 75% of you got it correct. It's an enterprise agile planning tool. That is a phrase that was coined by the Gartner Group back in 2016. That categorization within the Gartner Group, we believe, is now moving towards the strategic portfolio management category within Gartner. So it has to date been classified as an enterprise agile planning solution. When was Jira Align created? Yes, most of you got that correct. It was in fact created in 2017, established in 2014, and becoming a part of the Atlassian ecosphere in 2018. What was it Jira Align originally called? It was in fact originally called Agile Craft. And fun fact, our logo or mascot, if you will, was a Yeti. We used to have lots of fun with a Yeti there back in our days of Agile Craft. So thanks for taking the time for doing the trivia questions this morning. As an icebreaker, we hope that was fun for you. Next up, we have a poll question to get us started. Going to get you in the mindset of questions now. So Nina, can you go ahead and launch that poll? So this question, how long has your company been using Jira Align? Less than 1 year, 1 to 3 years, more than 3 years? Get about half the folks voted now. So how long has your company been using Jira Align? Less than 1 year, 1 to 3 years, or more than 3 years? Got just about 1 minute remaining in the poll. If you have not voted, please go ahead and do so. And if your company is not yet using Jira Align and you're just here to get some answers to questions while you're evaluating if it should be a tool for your organization to consider, go ahead and select less than 1 year. Okay, let's end that poll and share our results. So our results, most of you have been using the Jira Align platform for less than a year. One person from 1 to 3 years, and one of you have been using it for more than 3 years. Thank you for that. And once again, my little Apple mouse has got me. So first category, as you guys all know, when we were publicizing this webinar on social media platforms, we had a poll out there. What questions were you most interested in having answered around Jira Align? So I took the top 3 of those and I put together a couple of really simple slides to help frame our conversation there. If you have questions while I'm talking about these slides, please feel free to go ahead and put those in the question box, and Nina will shout those out for you. So our first area, I think the highest interest area, was around Jira Align integrations. Jira Align integrates with both Jira and Azure DevOps natively. The connector within Jira's REST API, or Jira Align's REST API to Jira, integrates the core or standard out of the box Jira issue types. So the Jira issue type of Epic, and you'll notice on the right side of the screen, I have Jira Align. Just for simplicity of lookup after the webinar, everything on this side of the screen is using scaled agile framework terminology. The Jira Align platform, as those of you who are using it know, does allow you to configure the terminology to match whatever framework, whether that's homegrown or one of the other Scrum at Scale or Less or DA frameworks to match the terminology you're using within your organization. So the Jira Epic object syncs bidirectionally into Jira Align, the object known as feature. Fixed version will come into Jira Align as a release, also a bidirectional update. Sprints will integrate into Jira Align's object known as a sync sprint. We call it a sync sprint because that's the bucket that helps align all of the sprints across an art or a portfolio to a standard looking cadence for metric reporting. Stories sync bidirectionally as well. Bugs only come in one way, and the bug issue type from Jira comes into Jira Align as an issue type known as defect. We do recommend when working with customers that you do create a custom issue type called defect, which would in Jira Align be a story type of defect, so that you can then track and trace your found in sprint bugs versus your production release bugs. The unique part about the integration, and this is really around how Jira is structured, any users that are on the board that are a reporter, an assignee, or an owner of an object in Jira integrate into Jira Align as part of the team. Now, some of those folks could be simply stakeholders who've raised the ticket or created the story or the feature. Some of them could be actually members of the agile teams that are working on. Jira Align does allow you the ability to change those user types to either be a core team member or to be a stakeholder, so they can still see the data rolling up in Jira Align without affecting your ability to effectively play in your capacity and Align. And of course, users, we talked about how those come in. Both the Jira project and the associated sprint board, in the case of Scrum teams, integrate into Jira Align to give you that team view. If your teams are using Kanban, Jira Align does pull the Kanban board information in, so you can always see the progress there. And of course, above that, all of the items that are in blue live only in Jira Align to provide you the portfolio and strategy views. Now, when working with Jira, everybody on the call here knows that Jira allows you to do any number of configuration setups in Jira. The recommended approach when integrating between Jira and Jira Align is represented on the left-hand side of the screen. We recommend that you have a project, here represented as project A, that would be for all Jira epics or features that are to be worked on within your planning increment. This allows all of the agile teams on the art to contribute to that feature as needed within the PI, rather than what we commonly see is that Jira epic or feature would be replicated from project to project to project to project, which those of you who have to deal with trying to roll that back up to a cohesive reporting know can be problematic. And then each team level project. So if your teams, there are, let's see, who did I just see playing NFL? I think it was the Cowboys and the Eagles, or let's pretend those two played this weekend. I could have one team project for the Dallas Cowboys and one team project for the Philadelphia Eagles. Each of those projects then have their story, subtask, bugs, and if necessary, the custom issue type of defect to represent escape defects. The lines going from right to left indicate how those items flow into Jira Align to give you the PI and portfolio roll-up views. Nina, did we have any questions from our group on integrations?
We don't have any questions at the moment, but obviously I'm opening up to anybody that would like to ask a question. Please go ahead, drop it into the Q&A chat box, and Tina will be able to answer that.
Actually, Tina, we do have one from Hassan that we had from the poll.
Okay.
Let's just check it. Does Jira Align integrate with Confluence?
At this time, Jira Align does not integrate with Confluence. What most of my customers have done, because Jira Align will allow you to take those portfolio and strategy level views and export those. Most of them can be exported as a PNG or an SVG, an image file. They will embed those in a Confluence page. And for the lower level, meaning the art or team level, they will use the native integration for these two project levels to push over information to Confluence. We do have a couple of customers that we've worked with in the past that have also taken some of the really rich information at the program level, like the program board, the program increment planning report, even going so deep as to pull status reports on specific work that's happening in the PI and embed those in Confluence, again, using the PNG SVG file format type to put in Confluence. I'm hoping that that does come about on the Atlassian roadmap at some time in the near future, but at this time, integration between Jira Align and Confluence is not possible. Did we have any other questions?
We did actually, Tina. We've got one from Mandy, and that is, can I integrate dependencies from Jira into Jira Align?
Oh, this is a terrific question. As a matter of fact, you can. The way that we recommend you do this is to create a custom link type in Jira called depends on. And once that's mapped into Jira Align via the administration integration panel, those dependencies will then flow into Jira Align, and your product managers or RTEs or Scrum Masters and product owners, whomever you delegate, have the ability then to convert the Jira link type dependencies into the managed dependency object in Jira Align. So you get that decision of, should I really make this something that we care about in this PI as an art, or is this a lower level dependency, maybe within a team on stories that really is for their planning purposes only for sprint preparation? I hope that answered that question. Any others around integration?
We haven't got any on integration, but I have got two questions that have come in, Tina. So
Okay.
The first one is from Rolf Ladder, and his question is, does Jira support Align release trains across individual projects?
I would need a little bit more information about what you mean by release trains across individual projects. So let me maybe try to say it this way. If your agile teams are structured in a way that, for example, looking at this slide, each agile team can deliver an entire Jira epic or safe feature in a PI. So they don't share the epic level work. Then all of those team projects, let's say you have 10 teams in your art, each of those 10 teams are integrated into Jira Align associated with the art. So yes, multiple team projects from Jira can be integrated into Jira Align as an art. The only caution there is that if your teams are sharing epics, there can sometimes be issues in the roll-up between multiple Jira projects. If the team in Project A that's linking a story to the epic in Project B doesn't have the necessary permissions to do so. Other than that, yes, you can integrate, rather than having the product project, you can just have multiple team projects that pull in as a single art. Did that answer your question clearly?
Rolf, I hope that answered your question clearly. If you need a little more on that, then obviously just drop your question further down. Oh, it does. Perfect. So he's happy with that.
Perfect.
We've got another question from Edgaro Honda. So his question is, a few RTEs, project managers and business owners in my organization need Jira Align training. Where can we go for this need?
So the Adaptavist group offers training on all levels of Jira Align, either based around the SAFE hierarchy level, so team, program, portfolio, strategy, or for the individual needs. Feel free to reach out to us, either me directly, or you can use our contact us web form. Let us know what you're looking for there, and we can happily scope that out for you. The Aligned Agility team here, the team that supports Jira Align here within the Adaptavist group, the Aligned Agility team. Everybody on this team has, with the exception of one member, been working in Jira Align for as many as, like me, 7 years. Beyond me, everybody else has been 5 or 6 years. So we have a very deep experience with Jira Align, training folks, configuring the platform, and so on. We'd be happy to help you with training there. Otherwise, there's some embedded training videos that I'm going to show you in the next section, or the final section of the presentation, the slides that I've got for you. And I can go into Jira Align and show you where there is some embedded training in Jira Align, and that exists in everybody's platform, assuming that configuration hasn't turned it off. So I'll be happy to show you that as well.
Perfect, Tina. And then we've got one more question here from Brown Hall. And the question is, I have been told that the dependencies in Jira don't move based on change dates of the president. Is this also the case with Align unless the dependency has a specific fix made?
It is. So for example, just like in Jira, if you have a dependency that's created between 2 stories or 2 epics, the date on that dependency doesn't change unless those stories or epics are dropped, or in the case of the story, dropped from the current sprint and moved to the next sprint, which means now you also have to update those sprints and dates in Jira Align. The dependencies in Jira Align are treated as what we refer to tongue-in-cheek as first-class citizens, right along with stories, features, portfolio epics, and themes. So they are not just links between items. They actually show up on a lot of reports to help you manage your delivery more successfully. Did that answer your question, Broman?
I hope that answered your question. Haven't had a feedback on that, but hopefully if that did answer your question, do let us know. And if you need any more on that, then again, just drop us a message on the Q&A chat box. So those are the questions that we have so far.
Okay.
And I'll let Tina progress further through this session.
Excellent. So the next area that we got a lot of questions on was OKRs. So as many of you know, OKRs is formal OKRs is a relatively new area in Jira Align. It's been out for about 1.5 years. And to start this section, we also have another poll question.
Perfect. So I'm just going to launch that for you.
Did it launch? I don't see it.
Just launching that.
Okay.
It's not allowing me to launch. So what I will do is I will read the question out. And if everybody wants to drop their answer in the Q&A, apologies for this, but for some reason it's not allowing me to do that. Okay, I'll read out the poll for you, everybody. Does your organization use OKRs today? So we've got 3 multiple choice answers here. Yes, you've been using it for 1 year plus. You've just started using them, or no, you don't use them at all. So if you'd like to type your answers in the Q&A box for this one, apologies for that, we will pick that up.
Oh, there it goes.
There it goes. Here we go.
So question 1, does your organization use OKRs today? No, we don't. We've just started. Or yes, we've been using for more than 1 year. Just to mix it up, I had to read the answers from bottom to top. Okay, let's go ahead and end that and share our results. So results of this poll, most of you are not using OKRs today. 2 have just started using OKRs and 1 has been using for more than 1 year. So hopefully this next section will be able to give you some tips, tricks, or insights into how Jira Align treats OKRs. So, oops, there we go. OKRs are pretty standardly defined in Jira Align, as they are throughout the rest of the industry. An objective is to, for example, transform into a product-centric organization as measured by the collaboration across teams, speed with which we deliver high-quality products to the market, and increase our customer base. So we have the objective following with key results, activity-based results, and value-based results. The table on the right sort of illustrates how all of this will break down. So an activity-based result, for example, would be training completed for 40% of leaders. A more value-based approach would be 20% of leadership is engaged in delivering or in the product-centric transformation effort. On the right-hand side, an activity-based transformation roadmap is defined versus employee NPS score is 35%. 20% of tests are automated and XP adopted by 40% of teams versus quality increased by 15%. And achieve backlog transparency versus eliminate $2 million worth of duplicative work in 2 quarters. So you can see the difference on how we can define our key results. Our recommendation generally is when you're starting out, making them simple activity based is very helpful in getting your organization's mindset moving more towards key results. If you've been using OKRs for a couple of quarters, then we recommend also mixing in some value-based results. So you have both leading and lagging indicators on how you are doing in achieving those objectives. Next up, we're going to look at one of the newer reports around OKRs in Jira Align. So this is referred to as the objective tree. It's a terrific dashboard intended for use by leaders in your organization to track their OKRs. And you will notice a couple of differences in Jira Align versus some of the other OKR tools that are on the market space. Because Atlassian and Jira Align recognize that frequently we end up with work that needs to be done across the organization in order to achieve those objectives. We allow you to be able to link work in Jira Align with the objectives at every level. So you can link all the way down to team individual objectives if you choose, all the way up to your long-term portfolio goals to have objectives associated with work on them. In this case, in the center section of our screen here, I see that my objective for outcome for all call-in customers is a portfolio level objective, doesn't have any work associated to it or completion of work associated to it, but I've got my key result progress is looking pretty good, and it is planned to be completed within 3 PIs. Underneath that, we have 3 program or art level objectives, and we can see we've got 2 that are pending progress or pending start right now, and we've got 1 that is in progress with an overall key result score of 50%. Work in progress is done, perhaps not accepted yet. And our key results progress for this quarter is looking really, really good. You do have the ability also to be able to look at all key results or filter on those that are at risk or those that are off track or simply those that have been completed. Now, of course, these views are very helpful for you when you're doing your portfolio or LACE review meetings monthly, weekly, if you still do that. So you can manage not only the work, but also, of course, your OKRs for completion. There's also a hierarchical view of this work tree. Those of you who were using goals in Jira Align prior to the release of OKRs would recognize this view just a bit. Now this view also contains the information of the key result, as well as the visual hierarchical breakdown. Questions on OKRs? Do we have any questions on OKRs?
We do actually, Tina. We've got 2. Just bear with me, I'll just find them. So we've got from Roman on OKRs. Do I have options on how to link work to objectives? So how do I link child and parent objectives?
So that's a 2-part question, one of which I did answer as we were going through, but just to reiterate, Jira Align does give you the option of linking work objects to your OKRs. So for example, I could configure the Jira Align platform to allow me to link features to art level objectives and portfolio epics to portfolio level objectives. That is a configuration choice for you, by the way. In addition to that, when creating your key results, Jira Align does allow you to be able to do your key results either in the classic traditional way, where if my objective has 3 key results, my portfolio objective has 3 key results. When I create my art objective, Then I associate that objective to one of the 3 portfolio objective key results. That's a very terrific way of helping you to streamline your update and tracking of objectives. Or it allows you to do the more modern way, which is to connect your program or art level objective directly to the parent portfolio objective. Now, that does mean that you have to now maintain your key results in addition to your objectives at both levels. So it's really about if you are going to do your objective and key results as defined early on and described quite well in Measure What Matters book, great book to read, or if you want to do it in a more modern way of just connecting your objective levels themselves, not your key results. I hope that answered your question.
Tina Cleo asks, can I manage multiple portfolios in Jira and roll the OKRs up to the company level?
You can manage multiple portfolios in Jira Align and then roll those up to your, what Jira Align refers to as strategic snapshot, which, the rest of the world, we just call that our annual plan, or our strategic plan if we're doing a 6-month or 3-month cadence. So Jira Align does allow you to do that. The caveat there is that your portfolios cannot share strategic themes, which is generally not a problem, the way that most companies do their strategic planning. Key results or themes end up coming out of strategic planning aligned to specific portfolios. On occasion, we'll have some that share across, and then some additional steps need to be done in order to provide accurate visibility for the key results across multiple portfolios in Jira Align. I hope that answered your question. If not, feel free to reach out and we can give you some more details on how to make that happen. Any other questions on key results or objectives and key results?
No, we don't have any other questions on objectives and key results. You can move on, Tina.
All right, so I'm going to move on then to the third most popular poll question was, how do we use Jira Align to mature our agile practices? And let's see if our poll question will launch this time without a hassle. Excellent. So our poll, does your organization have coaching and training standards in place today? Our options are, we have none, or we have neither. We have some. We have training but no coaching. We have coaching but no training. Give it just in a few more seconds there. All right, so let's end the poll. And our results, about 33% in both have neither or some. Some of you have training but no coaching, and some have coaching but no training. I'm going to step up on my little soapbox for a minute. We've been at this agile thing for officially about 12 years now. Organizations have been on the journey of agile, digital, and other names, transformations for slightly less than that. I've been working in this space for strategic and organizational transformation again since the mid-90s. Couple of things that really truly define whether an organization is going to be successful or not: coaching and training. Training absolutely is critical to helping organizations understand what the new processes are and how to use the new tools that support those processes. Without those, chaos ensues. Let's just put it that way. After the initial training phase, we generally will recommend, that training phase is supported by either your internal training organization or some consulting for a period of 1 to 2 PIs. After that, embedding coaching within the organization to help provide not only support for existing processes, but experienced folks can help you identify where perhaps within a couple of teams or an art in your organization, maybe adding a new agile practice, maybe something as simple as using behavior-driven development to write your epics and stories can really make a huge difference in the predictability of your trains. That's something that if you don't have an experienced coach in-house that's observing what's happening with your teams and your arts, even your portfolio, those things often will take a lot longer to get to. And in the meantime, you can end up having quite a bit of churn or unhappy employees in the organization because they will feel like they're struggling. So we do recommend that you have, minimal amounts of coaching going along your transformation until you get some experience either brought in as employees or trained up to those levels where they can now take over in-house training. Hope that soapbox helped there a bit. I'm going to step off of it now. All right. So let's go talk about how Jira Align can help you. So back in the AgileCraft days when we were developing this platform, some of the key things that we found out in working with organizations was being able to have help or visualization, direction, really within the platform on how organizations, our customers, were using the platform and their process married together was very helpful. So this next section is going to talk through a couple of those areas that we put in the platform that are still there today and still largely maintained by Atlassian. So the first one is an area that is called framework maps. Within this section, so for example, here I'm using, of course, the Scaled Agile Framework example. If my organization is using Scaled Agile Framework, I can take a screen snap of the framework map, which I have done here. And in this case, I'm using the portfolio view. And I can map different areas here. So you'll see, for example, here, there's a box around art backlog. There's a box that should be directly around team backlog, but I got a little off matching there. Whenever I, as a user of Jira Align, go into the framework map, let's say, I'm a product owner and I have a question about where my backlog is and how I can see the backlog that the teams actually have in their sprint right now. I can come to framework map and I can just click on team backlog and it's going to take me directly to that section in Jira Align, which is team backlog. Then I can choose the team or teams that I want to see their backlog and the sprints that I want to see the backlogs for, and they appear for me. If I want to be able to see lean portfolio management and how that's affected in Jira Align, I can click here and it'll take me to that part. And you'll see here on the left side, we've got everything from Spotify, Scrum at Scale, portfolio level safe, which is just to focus on portfolio, less DAD. We've got those built into our demo environments to be able to demonstrate the value of this with our customers. Very powerful tool. You can also map that to your individual roles and personas so that if I am a portfolio or a product manager, I'm a RTE, I'm a Scrum Master, I can come into the framework mapper and really see which personas should use which section of the tool set and of the framework, which of those are most important to me. So that's one area where Jira Align helps provide coaching and training for you. Another, we have something that's called checklists. Now, Jira Align does ship with a couple of these out of the box. Checklists are something that are fully customizable to match how you are implementing your framework. Thankfully, not everybody that's implementing Scaled Agile Framework does everything top to bottom at the beginning of their journey. So this allows us to say, for example, I want to create a checklist for my RTE on how they can plan, monitor, and optimize the PI throughout the PI. I want to create a checklist for how my product managers can use the product functionality in Jira Align. And you'll see here at the bottom, I've got the safe process selected. And now it's got the checklist laid out for me. And I can click on each one of these areas and it'll take me directly there, where I can then select the help button, which I'm going to show you live here in a minute. Next, we have the training simulation. So the person that asked about training, there are some pre-recorded demos or training videos in Jira Align already. There's a full catalog of these that is available. If these are not enabled in your platform, you can either talk to your platform admin to turn them on or open a ticket to Atlassian to have them enabled. They do come enabled out of the box, so they should be on for you. So again, once you click the clipboard in the top right of your Jira Align screen, and this is always visible, then you'll select the Training Simulations tab, and we'll see all of the training simulations that are available in Jira Align. Here, I have selected Lean Budgeting, and I see across the bottom, I have 4 videos. These are training videos. Many of these training simulations are hands-on, so you'll be asked to click and enter or click to progress throughout the training videos. Now, one thing of note, I mentioned early on that Jira Align allows you to change the terminology in the platform to match what you call things. All of these videos are created using Scaled Agile Framework default terminology. So you may need to have a cheat sheet of terminology translation available on your Confluence site or within the Lean process section of Jira Align for your end users to be able to translate the terminology and understand how Jira Align can be used to support what they do. So let me switch screens now, and I want to show you some of these live in Jira Align. While I'm doing this, if you have any questions at all, do post them in the question box, and we will get those answered. Let me go share now. Jira Align. What are we seeing? Are we seeing Jira Align? We're seeing the video again, or the
Yeah, I can see your slides, Tina.
slides. That's not what I want to share. Webinars are not supposed to be this tricky to share stuff on, are they?
Now's a good time. If anyone's got any questions, just to pop them in the Q&A box just while Tina finds her screens.
Here we go. Now we should be seeing the proper, right? Not training simulations. All right, so I mentioned framework mappers. The easiest way, and I'm going to show you this in the old navigation, the easiest way to access those, going to your search window. If you simply type in the word frame, it should pop up for you, and you will see framework mapper. So in the framework mapper, if I want to add a new image, simply click the add image, paste it in, it'll ask you to give it a name, and then you can begin mapping your sections. So if I want to define an interactive section, you'll see here I've got some already defined. Oops, and now I've clicked on that one, so you're going to see it's going to take me to the Epic backlog because it was the portfolio backlog. Anytime you want to add a new one, in the save section, I can done, go back and add a new one, edit the existing ones, change the image out. So this allows you to update and change as your process changes. Going back to our built-in training, I'm going to click our checkboard, our clipboard, and now we see the active checklists. So as we select any of those, the checklist itself will show up at the bottom. Again, this one is defined specifically for product managers. So it's going to take me to the ideation portal where I can set up an ideation intake board, define my product vision, define my intended personas, and so on. Training simulations. I've got a long list of training simulations here. So if I want to, let's say, program increment planning, now I've got my videos, and as you click on these, it will launch the full video. And you will begin to hear our lovely Emily. Emily is usually the one speaking on here, talking about what's going on.
Welcome to Jira Align's backlog management training.
So they're pretty great. In addition to that, on any screen that you are on in Jira Align, without fail, any screen, down here in the very bottom right of the screen, you will see a help button. When you click on this help button, it is going to bring you back Jira Align documentation about that specific page of functionality. If it is a report, it is going to give you the prerequisites and the calculations that are used to create that report. If there's a more information area, you can or you want more detail, maybe on something you read in here that triggered a thought, we can click on more help. We're going to get another pop-up box. Maybe it's, I read something in here about backlogs and I want to go find out more about backlogs. I can type the word backlog. It'll give me out some more information and I can click here, unassign backlog, and so on. So the navigation around help, how do things really work in Jira Align? How do I use screens? How do I read reports? Available in the help button. Additional training is available in the training simulations. One question I always get about training simulations: can I customize these and add my own library? Unfortunately, the answer to that is no. What you can do, however, is under your checklists, when you're creating your checklist, you can customize those. You can embed a link to a video, perhaps it's on your Confluence page. So whenever somebody clicks on the link there, then they would go to their Confluence page, or in the framework mapper, you can also embed links to external sources. Perhaps you're using LinkedIn's really robust set of agile training docs. You want to link folks to the one on Scrum and how to do Scrum. You can provide that link here in the framework mapper, and whenever they click on the word Scrum, it's going to take them right to that LinkedIn video. Or if you want them to go for, in this example, you want them to go see the white paper about safe Scrum, you can link directly to that. So you get lots of options on how to enable learning within Jira Align.
Tina, we've had another question from Bronwyn.
Okay.
If I understand correctly, you said that we could set up our framework to match how our business is working. So maybe a mix of a few of the frameworks you have on the left.
Yep. The first thing you have to do there, Bronwyn, is create a visual image on how that's working. So for example, if you were using parts of Scaled Agile Framework and parts of Scrum at Scale, you would need to create an image. Most of my customers will do that using simply PowerPoint. Some cases they've used Visio or Glyphy. So they'll create a visual image of what their scaling framework looks like. And then we take a screenshot of that, make that an image file, upload it here, and then map it. So if you've already created that image map of what your customized Agile at Scale process looks like, pop it in here and begin mapping it to the different sections of Jira Align. Any other questions?
Tina, if we've got time, we might get to another one of the poll questions, if that's okay, just so we answer everything. Just bear with me. So we've got a question on reporting. Where is it? Oh yeah, from Manish, sorry. How do I create custom reports from Jira Align?
Great question. So in Jira Align, and let me go back and share my screen again for Jira Align. All right. So within Jira Align itself, out of the box reports, most of the out of the box reports can be found using the reports menu option. There are over 200 reports here out of the box. If you want to create reports from data in Jira Align, you must also acquire another Atlassian toolset called Enterprise Insights. This is a massive data lake of all information within Jira Align that does include information that has been integrated from Jira into Jira Align. The way Enterprise Insight works is it takes a complete snapshot of your Jira Align database and backs it up to that data lake every 4 hours. And I know that some of the folks on the phone are not in North America. So wherever your Jira Align instance is where that data should be also resided. So every 4 hours, that data lake is backed up, gives you the ability to report there. That is the only way to create a custom report from Jira Align data. Many folks will go, well, can't I just export all of the data and put it in my existing data lake? No. Jira Align export functionality has a limiter on it of 1,000 records to export at a time. So unless you're really good at filtering in Jira Align and want to do a bunch of exports and then import them into your data lake, the answer to that is no. So again, Enterprise Insights, if you need it and don't have it, we're happy to help you acquire that and configure it for your reporting needs. Now, those of you who are looking at my screen will notice a little button down here on the bottom called External Reports. If you have, for example, Power BI or Easy BI or one of those other tools, and that is connected to Jira or any other external third-party data lake or system that you are creating reports from, when those reports are created using that tool set, you can add them here in Jira Align for visibility with anybody who has a Jira Align license. So you simply click Add External Report. I'll click on that really quickly. Put in the iframe URL. So all of the BI tools should give you an iframe URL. Title it, give it a description, and then save and close. And it becomes a selectable report here that can be clicked on and viewed. So in this case, I can see that this is a monthly business review report, and this is specifically looking at objectives, looking at everything in terms of objectives. And this was created with Tableau, which I know here at the bottom. That is the only way to do external reports in Jira Align. Make external reports visible in Jira Align. And the only way to create custom reports from Jira Align is through the use of Enterprise Insights. Did that answer the question on reporting?
Tina, I think we've got one more question. Sorry. We've got
It's not the chump time.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? No, it doesn't have to be about these 3 areas.
Yeah, we've got one more question, Tina, and it's from Marini. And the question is, what are the differences between Jira Plans, so advanced roadmap, and Jira Align? what are some of the use cases where Jira Align is the right fit for our users?
So I'm going to start with the lowest common denominator there. Plans, previously known as advanced roadmaps, is a road mapping tool that is intended to be used to provide a roadmap for a single Jira project. When your admin installs it or enables it for the first time in your Jira environment, they will get a pop-up that says, used for only one project. If you need more than one, get a different plugin. I'm paraphrasing there, of course, and being a little dramatic for the webinar, but it does state very clearly that advanced roadmaps is intended to be used to create roadmaps for a single project. Now, there is an additional functionality for plans, relatively new, that lets you do what they call program roadmaps, which is to bring together the existing roadmaps of individual teams into a roll-up view at the art level. Atlassian's stated limitation for that is 5,000 linked issues. So that means epics linked to stories, linked to subtasks, linked to bugs, linked to whatever your custom hierarchy is. I personally have not seen it, plans provide a good experience or performance when more than 2001 objects are linked in that roadmap view. So if you are trying to get a roadmap view of portfolio or strategy, then the best option for you is Jira Align. And I'm back in Jira Align. You guys should be seeing Jira Align now. Yes.
Yeah, we're seeing Jira Align, Tina.
So in Jira Align, when you go to the roadmaps in Jira Align, you'll note that, and again, I'm still in the new UI, or sorry, the old UI. There is a new UI that is being released December 1. Any of you that are already using Jira Align can access that right now by clicking this toggle here. Those of you I know on the phone that are preparing to implement Jira Align will be implemented with a new UI. So when I'm in my roadmaps, in this case, I want to see my portfolio epics or initiatives, as they're called in my system, by theme for this PI. So by theme, I can expand and see all of the related portfolio epics. If I want to then drill down from there, I can look at all of my Jira epics by initiative. So Jira Align allows you to get enterprise strategic roadmaps, portfolio specific roadmaps. It also allows you to do things like put in milestones for those regulatory, legal, board of directors required dates that have to be hit, so you can know if you're hitting those dates or not, along with other milestones like when is it asked to be delivered, when are we planning to deliver it, so you can always keep visibility to that. There's a lot of other capabilities here that allow you to do different filtering, different sorting, different all sorts of fun stuff. One of my favorite filtered views coming from a product management background is to look at my epics for a PI and then filter those or group those by my product. Or since we were talking about objectives, let's group it by objective. So now I'm able to see all of my Jira epics and the objective that they are related to. The numbers here tell you the number of team level stories. So I hope that answered the question about roadmaps, Marini. Sorry, I just massacred your name.
She hasn't responded, but I think that hopefully answered her question. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
it definitely did. Thank you. Thanks, Tina. Thank you, Marini.
And what other questions?
Any more questions? Please drop them in the chat box.
So I mentioned the new UI. While you guys are thinking of other questions, I'll take this quick opportunity to also show you the new UI. Those of you who are currently using Jira will recognize this as it refreshes. It has been formatted to look very similar to Jira Cloud functionality. So now you can see the same roadmap that we looked at previously with the new navigation. So in this case, I am looking at a portfolio view, and I can see my different options of more things to do. I can see timing, reporting, all sorts of stuff here. Along the top, I can choose the level that I want to look at. So for example, let me go to team, and I'm going to pick on Baltimore, and I see a question. I thought I saw a question that popped up about Scrum capacity. Yes, Bronwyn. So I'm going to click next here. No, dismiss that. The little next box navigation gives you some tips and tricks on the new navigation system. So when I select my team, this brings me into the team room in Jira Align. When these sprints are active, it will show you all of the epics, stories, tasks, etc., that are being worked on by the team. Now I do have the option from here. I'm going to go more options. I'm going to go to teams. I'm going to select my team Baltimore. On here, early at the top of the call, I mentioned how I can change my members that come in from Jira. So let's say that Jules here is somebody who reported an issue, and he came into the system, and really he's a stakeholder, so we don't want him to have access to change anything the team is doing in Jira Align, so we just change him to a stakeholder. Bronwyn asked a question about, does Jira Align allow for capacity management at the Scrum teams? The answer to that is yes. So there's a couple of things that you have to do. One, make sure that the team members who are actually part of your team are set up there. Then we're going to go into allocations, and you're going to allocate your team members. Now, ideally, if we're doing Scrum, our Scrum team members are 100% dedicated to one and only one team. If they are not, let's say here, Antonio is only 50% on our team, and he's 50% on another team. So I'll drop him down to 50% allocation here. You would do that with every team member. Here's Mitch. Let's say Mitch is only 25%, and tempo timesheets is 100%. So now I have my allocation, and we'll notice here we've got a current sprint capacity button. This button is going to show you the current sprint capacity overall, and then by individual team members. So I can also see by individual team member what they're working on, and allow them to also plan their sprints out here. I'm going to go back to where I was there with my team, and I'll show you how to set your capacity. So I'll go select my next sprint. Let's see, should be, yep, sprint 28. So now I have a button that says capacity. Coming into here, now I'll select my sprint 28 again. All of my team members should be showing below here. I'm not sure why they are not right now. And I can see reports that show me how much time they have allocated on their tasks in terms of hours. The capacity planning here does require that your Scrum teams are using hours on tasks on stories. If they are not, this is not what will help you do that. What will help you from a capacity planning perspective, if you're not using tasks, hours on tasks on stories, is again from team level, select Team Baltimore. Then I'm going to go select more items, teams, and select Baltimore again. hopefully this is one of the things that will streamline just a bit more in the UI as it rolls out. On your team card, as I refer to it, down here at the bottom, we're going to track this team by points. And yeah, by points. And I should be able to set, that's gone in the new UI, what their average or known velocity is. I'm not sure why it's not on here. Let me switch back to the current navigation and I'll show you that there. On from there too. There, it's on the sprints now. So I can set my average velocity. Companies will usually do this at the start of the PI. When you build your sync sprints, go in and set the known average velocity of each team in terms of story points, or the correlated t-shirt size of story points on each sprint. And then that'll help you in your backlog planning to see if the team is over or under allocated from a points perspective by team. Bob, I hope that answered your question. If not, we can dive into that in more detail as we progress with your teams.
Thank you, Tina. I hope that answered your question. Obviously, if you want any more details, you will have the opportunity to do that via the email that you will all receive. After this webinar, you'll all receive an email with the recording. There is an option to fill out a form. If you would like to speak to Tina, please do fill out that form and request a meeting with her, and she will pick this up and get back to you as soon as possible. So I'd like to wrap up the webinar. We're coming towards the end now. And I'd really like to thank Tina for her time. And I hope she's able to answer all your questions. I think she did really well. And I think everybody got everything they needed. Of course, there's opportunity to speak to her further through the feedback forms that we send out. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending. That is really appreciated. Thank you, Tina. And keep an eye out for the next webinar that will be coming out very soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.